This is the solution to the exercise in Lesson 22. Lesson 22 is all about creating ASP.NET web forms, and what we want to do is create a simple calculator that multiplies two numbers together, just to get your feet wet in using creating ASP.NET web applications. So what we'll do to begin with is select File, New Project. We'll make sure that Visual C# Projects is selected, but we'll also make sure that we have the ASP.NET web application selected. And here I'm going to type in Lesson 22 EX, and I'll click OK. Okay, so the first thing that we're supposed to do is add two text boxes and a button and a label. So I'm going to do that. Text box 1, text box 2, a button, and a label. Let's start with the label. I'm going to rename this to, get rid of the text there, rename this to LBL result, because this will have the result of the multiplication. We're going to call this BTN multiply, and we'll change the text to multiply. So here I'm going to call this TXT1. I'm going to call this TXT2. And I think I'll just move everything over just a little bit. Okay. So now, whenever the user clicks the multiply button, what we want to do is multiply the two numbers together. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a result, which will be an integer, and so result will equal txt1.text times txt2t2.text. Now remember that we're going to have to parse both of these into integers in order to get this multiplication to work. And finally then we want to go put our result into our label. Whoops. Okay, so now let's test and see if this works. Okay, 8 times 9 is 72. So it looks like we solved the exercise for Lesson 22. There is a bonus that I'm going to show you how to do, and it suggests that if you can't figure this out on your own, that you may want to look at the 3100 series on LearnVisualStudio.net for more information. And that is to use the validation controls, which are in your toolbox near the bottom, so you have to scroll down a little bit. And the one that we're interested in is the required field validator control. So I'll go ahead and put two of those on my design surface. So the first one I'm just going to rename to val1. Then I want to change the error message to something like required field. And then I want to set the control to validate to txt1. So I'll pretty much repeat the same steps for the second validator. We'll set the control to validate to the second text box. And I think that's all we need to do. I'm going to space these a little bit more close to their actual text box. So let's run the application. And this time, if I were to try to hit the multiply button, it would say, well, I can't submit this because it's a required field. So let's say I just do one of them, and notice when I do that, this disappears, and it won't submit until I put them both in. And 9 times 7 is 63. So that's the solution to the bonus part of the exercise for Lesson 22. So I hope you have fun creating web pages and with working with VisualStudio.net and C# in building applications. That concludes this lesson series. Thank you.